Have you ever wondered why fairy tales still have so much influence over the way women approach relationships? At first glance, it doesn't seem like they should. After all, most of us watched these stories decades ago. We're adults now. We've had real relationships, real heartbreak, real life experience. So, why do stories like Cinderella, Beauty and the Beast, or The Little Mermaid still resonate so deeply? I think it's because fairy tales are often among the very first stories little girls encounter about romantic love. For many girls, they're the first stories that answer questions like, what does love look like? Who gets chosen? What makes a woman worthy of being loved? And what happens if I'm patient enough, kind enough, beautiful enough, or self-sacrificing enough? Those stories arrive long before we've even had enough life experience to question them. Even children who grow up with loving parents often don't witness the beginning of their parents' love story. By the time we're old enough to observe our parents' relationship, if they're even a relationship that we want to mirror, they're usually navigating careers, parenting, responsibilities, and everyday life. We see partnership, but we rarely witness the romantic pursuit that fairy tales place at the center of their stories. So fairy tales don't simply entertain us. They introduce us to an idea about what love is supposed to feel like, an idea of what kind of woman deserves it, an idea about how to earn it. And because those stories are encountered during childhood, they become emotionally significant long before we're capable of critically examining them. And then something interesting happens. Those messages don't disappear. In fact, they're reinforced. They're reinforced in movies, music, social media, conversations with friends and family expectations, dating advice, and cultural narratives that continue telling women that somewhere out there is the relationship that will finally complete the story. Even adults who have experienced disappointment in love often continue hoping the fairy tale is possible, not only for themselves, but for the next generation. We pass the dream forward because hope is beautiful. The problem isn't hope. The problem is when hope replaces discernment. What concerns me isn't that women want love, is that many of us were never taught how to recognize power dynamics while pursuing it. We learned how to dream. We were not always taught how to discern. As a therapist and as a woman, I've noticed that many of the relationship strategies women use, and even I have used in the past, aren't conscious decisions. They're protective patterns that developed much earlier in life. When we're seeking love, belonging, or emotional safety, we're often drawing from emotional blueprints we learned years ago, long before we understood healthy relationships. That's why these stories matter. That's why these stories still matter. Not because women confuse fiction with reality, but because stories help shape the expectations, beliefs, and emotional patterns we carry into reality. And when life becomes emotionally charged, when we're afraid of rejection, when we're longing for connection, when we're hoping to be chosen, we often return to those early templates without realizing it. To me, that's why fairy tales still deserve our attention. Not because they're dangerous, but because they're powerful. And if we're not willing to look beneath the surface, they can become mirrors that reveal not only the stories we loved as children, but stories we may still be stuck in living as adults. That's what we'll be exploring here on Once Upon a Teacup. Together, we'll examine the unconscious strategies women use to find love, feel safe, and create a sense of belonging. The power they unknowingly trade away in the process, and what it means to reclaim authorship of our own stories. So until then, I invite you to think about this. What stories shape the woman that you've become? I'll see you on August 6th when we begin uncovering the comfort stories, the quiet conditioning, and the powerful truths hidden within the tales we thought we already knew. Until then, be curious.